You ever feel like you can fix everyone's skin but your own? Like you know what to do, but your face just isn't cooperating, and suddenly you're questioning if clients will even trust you? I've been there. Today, we're talking about the pressure to have perfect skin as an esthetician and why that mindset needs to go. Let's get into it. If you're new here or you're coming back for more, welcome to Beauty Babble, where we talk shop about the real stuff behind running a beauty business. I'm Darine, a brand and content strategist and former esthetician.
And I'm Suzanne Dias, certified esthetician with over 30 years, former spa owner, and now educator mentor to beauty pros.
So today we're talking about that expectation. It's not written anywhere, but I think it's in all our heads that as an esthetician, you should have perfect skin. And if you don't, that you're not going to be trusted with clients. And you might in yourself feel uneasy and insecure about your own skin.
Well, this is something I think we all have to realize. It happens. Breakouts do happen. And I understand that some people have a lot more difficulties having it more often than other people do. And I think it's a perfect time to, be vulnerable and share that information directly to your clients. Especially on social
Mhm.
media. If you can do it, it's you're just going to be how do I say that? You're going to resonate with somebody out there for sure, and more than what you realize. And I get that people will judge. You can't change that. People will always
Mhm.
judge. It's been around forever and will continue in the future, I'm sure. But like I said, I think you're going to resonate to somebody out there or to many that get it, right? They're doing everything they can, and I still break out every month, or I still have these breakouts that keep consistently happening. Why isn't this happening to other people? And if you relate to it, and I think you could also, look at it and dive a little deeper into yourself and say, well, okay, I'm going to look at this month is, what's my stress level? Am I sleeping right? Not right, but am I sleeping? I guess is a better way.
No.
So you're resting properly. And, is happening with me hormonally. Like, I remember even clients, like, you're probably out there helping many people with this same issue. So what are you telling them to do? And have you been able to do it yourself? I think that's something that we forget. We're so busy focused on everyone else, because that's what we do. We service, right? That we're not taking
Mhm.
care of ourselves. So I think if you step back and look at that first, and then say, you know what, this month I'm going to do this. I gave advice to my client, Betty, and I'm going to do it myself as well for this month, and whatever that might be. But I think you have to look at if you can figure out what it is that's causing it, and then going from there. Take a step back, and what would you do for your client?
Yeah.
And
I
treat
think
it.
that it's a good point to look at this as a learning and of course doing what I do. I'm like, "Ooh, this is content, you guys. Great, document it." And listen, if you're feeling insecure about your skin, you're not going to want to be on camera, but you don't have to necessarily be on camera. Just write down your experience, write down what you've done, see what's working and what's not, and then you can talk about it, whether it's like on screen text while you have a visual of a facial on someone else, or you can relate to a client verbally, face to face, about, this is what I've experienced and this is what's worked for me. I think that you can become your own client and go through an intake form with yourself and go through all those steps, but really looking at it in terms of like, how can I help my clients by helping myself, because that I think will lend itself to both.
Mhm.
I think another thing that I would suggest too is to get yourself an esthetician.
I was just going to say,
Talk to somebody else about it, because sometimes you're so close to the issue that you can't zoom out and take a look. And two brains are better than one. So maybe it's somebody else's approach that you're like, oh yeah, and it worked for you, and then you can adapt it as well. So I think that is, or go see a dermatologist.
yeah, and I think reaching out to somebody else, whether you're working with other people or is there someone else you follow, it doesn't hurt to do that, to see what that is, because occasional breakouts do happen. If you are consistently breaking out, then there's something else going on for sure. And you're right, like, go see a professional, go see a dermatologist, see what's going on. It could be hormonal. I remember having one staff member that was so upset because she's breaking out. You're pregnant. You just got to get through the next 9 months. And if you're going to nurse after, you got to wait for that and then wait for all the hormones to settle. But for in the meantime, you want to prevent the scarring. You want to help it heal. Like those are things you can do. And, those flare ups can happen. But again, like I said, a lot of it is stress related, especially in our society today. Us all seem a little bit stressed about something, right? But I think if you take a step back and just reanalyze, what would you say to a client? Like if you say out loud, yeah, but I'm doing that. Well, have you tried this? What would you keep doing with your client? Would
Hmm.
you give up on your
Yeah.
client? So I think it's hard to step out of ourselves and do that.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah.
I think looking at it from a different perspective, like if you're looking at it from the fact that I'm going to get judged and I'm not going to be trusted with my client's skin, or I'm going to be able to relate to my client's struggles. If I'm a client that is struggling with my skin, maybe I would be more intimidated to go see somebody who's got perfect skin and they wouldn't know what I'm going through. Like it could be a point of
Mhm.
connection because people do relate to real people and their struggles. They don't relate to perfect Instagram pictures. It's your story that's going to be more relatable.
Which is so much more now because everyone
Mm,
knows that a lot of Instagram is all filtered, right? It's not truly perfect. It's so perfect that it's not truly what they look like outside of the lens, I guess you could say. But I think if you look at it and flip it, like you said, as is one narrative to do, and the other is, do you have here's a thought. Do you have a client that actually is maybe a health wellness person, or you can speak with a nurse or anybody that you have currently as clients, or ask your clients, do you know anybody? Because there could be something going on with your own gut health, your own inside of your body,
mhm.
because eventually these cycles they'll come out. They always say what's inside is going to come out through our hair, skin, and nails. It's the way it's going to show up. I think that's something
Yeah.
you could do too, is talk to someone else about it, and it could even be that.
I think when it's a point of like something that bothers you and it's a sensitive topic, you become more concerned and stressed about it. And it
Exactly.
almost makes it bigger. So, kind of just like being kind to yourself, being
Hmm.
gentle with the way you talk about yourself and you
Don't
talk about your
panic.
skin. It's like, how would you talk to a friend or a client? But what would you say to them if they were feeling what you were feeling about your skin? And just having that kind self talk, because I do think that it just helps shift your mindset as well.
Yeah, and like you said, I think you're going to be more relatable to a lot of people. And I think that's a part of it, especially if you're one of the ones that have always had an issue with breakouts, because it's out there, right? It just is what happens. But there is solutions to it. It's a puzzle, and you got to dive hard into it to figure it out, and don't give up, and be compassionate with yourself, being consistent with yourself, not to panic. All these things that you'd probably say to your client, and let's try
Exactly.
this, and it's going to take time, and all these things like that. But I think that's a big part of it, that you can help somebody else through that as well.
Absolutely. And we want to hear from you. If you've gone through a similar experience, what's worked for you? What have you done to help yourself through it? Or what kind of advice would you give estheticians in this situation? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for listening to Beauty Babble.